Currently, I'm catching up on content for the THICC series as well as the monster inspiration videos covering Sunbreak monsters. However, at the same time, I've also been wanting to cover information regarding the large monsters introduced back in base Rise, which were revealed in Capcom's big thick book of Rise lore. So today, we're going to quickly go through 6 different monsters introduced back in Rise and what info Capcom has in store for us about these monsters that is exclusively covered in the book, and we're going to kick things off with the Great Izuchi. One of the more intriguing details about the Great Izuchi, as well as the Izuchi species as a whole that Capcom revealed within the book, is that as they continue to age, their claws begin to take on a white coloration. The white claws are said to be extremely valuable, and in most cases, white claws are usually found belonging to a regular Izuchi. A Great Izuchi's hooked claw can also turn white in coloration to indicate their advanced age. However, they are rare in comparison, which means that in the wild there is potential that a Great Izuchi variant with white claws actually exists instead of the vibrant blue that we see with the regular monster. This would have been an awesome addition in Sunbreak, where we get to see a Great Izuchi variant with white claws, but for now though, this information is exclusive to the book and we can't actually find this monster in the game. For Aknosom, we originally looked into how the monster generates the bouncing fireballs. We know that it's comprised of a flammable venom compound that's lit using the monster's fire sac. However, what the venom was actually composed of was never revealed. The book clarifies that the Aknosom's diet of fire herbs is what creates the flammable compound. The Aknosom will then store it in its fire sac, ready to be used when the monster needs it. I think the question at this point is, could the herbal diet of an Aknosom affect its abilities? We've seen other monsters become subspecies based on their diet, and it's possible that this bird wyvern could eat other herbs that could alter its elemental properties. So something along the lines of eating a flow fern could give it water abilities, eating a snow herb could give it ice abilities. Only the future can tell whether or not this is a possibility for the Aknosom in terms of its overall evolution. Next up, Tetranadon. During mating season, a female Tetranadon will usually create their nesting grounds within a waterfall basin. They will make their nests using moss and algae, which provide ample conditions to hatch their eggs and house their offspring. When 2 male Tetranadons are present and engage in a sumo wrestling competition, this means they are competing for partnership with the female Tetranadon. The female amphibian will observe the clash from a distance, hidden from sight, as the 2 males duke it out in order to gain the favor of the female. Hopefully in future we get to see this as a potential turf war between 2 Tetranadons, similar in fashion to how 2 Diablos would collide against one another in a violent turf war as we see in both World as well as in Rise. With the Bishaten, I'm sure many are already aware that the wings of this fanged beast are designed mostly for gliding as opposed to true flight. Having said this though, the wings serve a secondary purpose, maintaining balance. Info on this beast clarifies that when the Bishaten stands on its tail, the monster utilizes its wings in order to maintain its equilibrium, in order to weave around during combat. The wings provide a level of stabilization for the monster, especially when executing more complex attacks such as spinning rapidly. Unlike its cousin, the Kechawacha, which mostly uses its wing membranes for gliding, the Bishaten's wing membranes serve an alternative function that's crucial to the monster in order to utilize its other adaptations more effectively during combat. Swimming into the Somnacanth, information about this monster provides us further insight about the distinct blue glow that can be seen across both the body of the Leviathan and the sleeping powder it exhales. The cause of the blue glow that illuminates the gills and orifices of the Somnacanth are actually microscopic organisms that have entered the Leviathan's body due to its diet of giant oysters. The giant oysters are favored prey of the Somnacanth, and it's through ingesting these oysters that the monster produces its potent sleeping powder that it uses to debilitate its opponents. The sleep powder it produces integrates with the bioluminescent organisms, creating the signature blue coloration of the powder as well as the luminous blue light that escapes through the crevices across the monster's body. Finally, we'll be rounding up this video with the barbarous beast Magnamalo. The information we're going to cover here not only relates to the regular monster, it also acts as a link between the standard Magnamalo and its variant, the scorned Magnamalo. With a lifetime of continuous feeding and roaming different locales in order to maintain its strength and territory, a male Magnamalo will eventually form a large family by courting multiple females in the process. The defining feature of this fanged wyvern are its horns. These horns are extremely vital to the barbarous beast as they serve as a symbol of power and would attract females for the fanged wyvern in order to create their families. Should the male Magnamalo encounter an individual who manages to break its horns, the Magnamalo not only loses its symbol of power permanently as the horns cannot regrow, they also lose any potential mates as the females will lose attraction to the male once their horns are broken. If such an event occurs, the male's ferocity reaches new heights and thus begins increasing both its power and its territory. By focusing on expanding their territory, the male Magnamalo will encounter even more powerful adversaries which they can consume in order to bolster their overall power. Eventually, they will reach the peak of their potential, evolving into one of the deadliest fanged wyverns found in the wild, the scorned Magnamalo. And that, everyone, is currently all the information we're going to explore regarding some of the monsters introduced back in Rise, which Capcom has revealed through their big, thick book of Rise lore. We'll be going through the rest of the cast of Rise monsters in future videos, so for now, what do you think about the information we've learned about the monsters we've explored today based on the details found on Capcom's Monster Hunter Rise book? Let us know in the comments below your overall thoughts and opinions regarding the information we've covered here today, and let us know as well if you've learned anything else about these monsters that we haven't covered either on this video or in my 5 facts series. And as always, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider hitting the like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any other content that I might be doing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.